starting a new thing.
Oh,
A new thing.
okay.
We're starting
On time
early
is late
now.
Yep.
That's right. On time is late, right?
So you're right before.
So I love that you're all on time.
These are new agents potentially for our office.
All right, come on in.
What are their names?
Logged in, I'm logged in.
Hi, Bogdan.
Come in.
Hi, Paul.
There's plenty of room on this side of the room. Plenty of room.
Start from back.
What is this? What is this about filling the back up first and then moving forward? Is that what it is? Closing the door?
For the seniors, so they can-
There wasn't anything going.
Okay. Guys, we have a pretty awesome morning plan for you guys. And I just have a couple minutes with you guys, so can I get your attention?
Attention, please.
I love that. Great. So last week we talked about something because you were early. Do you remember what it was? Show up on time. Show up on time and you get a happy prize, so to speak. You get a little bit of time with me.
According to who's
What
what.
were we talking about last week, Dan Dennis?
We were talking about, no, it was about, crap, shit, or no. No, it was about our, mission, vision, values, and perspectives.
Yes. So we
It's our
have that
mission
up
statement.
here.
Billy, I got it.
We have that up here. Talk to me about one of those things up there. Dan. Just
Our
one.
mission, our mission statement. What, more important than that, our values, what are the guiding things that is most important in your life? Your spirituality, your family, and businesses. So if there's any questions you have on how to live your life, what comes first? Businesses last, or third.
That's a really great perspective, isn't it?
We are seeing.
I know. I know. I'm actually so glad that you chose that, right? So let's talk about that for a second. So God, family, and business, right? Faith, family, and business. In that order. And I love that. It's one of the things that attracted me to Keller Williams. The very first time anyone ever said that to me, I thought, no way. No way a real estate company is putting God first. Right? Say yes.
It's
Yeah.
just, and it's what's your spiritual connection?
That's right. So we're not saying what God, we're just saying it is an order, it is a priority, a great way to live your life and to lead other people, right? Because at the end of the day, how will you be remembered? For your business? No. But you might be remembered for how you made people feel when you did business with them, right? You're not going to remember.
Come on in, latecomer.
I know. Everybody knows who's late now. You guys are early. I love it. Showing up early. So we also talked a little bit about high road leadership. And at the end of that, what we talked about was putting things ahead of you or putting things behind you. And so I wanted to finish up this little segment on what a high road leader is and share with you the 12 characteristics of a high road leader. And you actually have it sitting right in front of you. I want to thank Goldie and Ty for making that happen. So let me just go through those with you. And if you want to add something, I would love to hear it from you. So don't keep all your thoughts to yourself. Share, please. So number one, high road leaders bring people together. How do you bring people together? How do you intentionally bring people together? How do you use your influence to bring people together? Jay.
I love introducing my clients today.
Awesome.
I do.
I love that. One other person share. How do you do that? Yeah. Our culture. We actually have guests here. We're bringing people together. Great. So I love that. Number 2, high road leaders value all people. Value all people. One of the greatest demonstrations I've ever seen anyone do is at the inspirational brunch at family reunion every single year, when we do this thing called prayers of the faiths. And there's a person selected that's an agent from Keller Williams, and they share their faith with us through prayer. And there's 5 different prayers that are shared. It's a way of including everybody and valuing a perspective that they have around their faith. And I love that. How else are we able to bring together and value people? What do you do every day to value other people? Listen.
I honk at them on the freeway.
That is true.
Yeah.
Sometimes you wave. Just a question, just a thought. High road leaders acknowledge their realness to be human. What does that mean?
I don't want to be hogging all the answers,
Well,
but
you kind of are.
we're quick to admit when we're wrong.
Not afraid to make mistakes.
Yeah. Yep. Share your realness with people. Number 4, high road leaders do the right thing for the right reasons. People matter. How do you know you're doing the right thing for the right reason?
You have to solve things out before you make a move. Think about it, or maybe bounce it off a colleague. Ask some input. Sometimes if you do it on your own, you make a mistake, so I pause.
Right. How do you know when you should pause, Mark?
Yeah.
In your gut. I'll share that sometimes when I'm irritated, it's probably not a good time.
I've had posts that I wanted to blast out. I'll copy it, send it to somebody. What do you think?
So take some time to respond versus react.
Yeah.
Awesome. Slow your roll. Number 5, high road leaders give more than they take. Give more than they take. How do you demonstrate that? How do you give more than you take?
Don't keep score.
Don't keep score.
Play good for that.
If you listen more, talk less.
Listen more. There you go. Love that. Okay. Number 6, high road leaders develop emotional capacity. How do you develop emotional capacity? Therapy. I mean, yeah.
Okay, you learn from when you first started, like, or take me for first started, my emotions were way high because I didn't understand the business. So you learn more about the business and you learn how to keep your emotions inside and think about helping them calm their emotions down.
Love it. So you learn, right? You learn over time how to control the emotions.
Right.
I
Not
say-
take things personally.
Not take things personally.
And I was gonna say, listen to Lindy.
Listen to Lindy.
Careful with that.
All that,
Okay?
all that.
Debbie's got one.
Yeah. Debbie, what was yours? Non-judgmental. Not be non-judgmental. Everybody says, yeah, that one. Yeah, that one.
Just be aware of yourself.
Beware. I'm gonna add one too. I'm gonna say being willing to, for example, forgive. Maybe you don't want to, but if you're willing to, a lot of cool things can happen. Okay. 7, high road leaders place people above their own agenda. How are you placing people above your own agenda? What do you do? What could you do today? Yes.
Don't be tied to the outcome.
Be tied
What's
down.
best for everyone.
Awesome.
It's up there, integrity, do the right thing.
It's about your expectations. You're giving without expecting anything back, like, well, what wasn't just said.
Awesome. And number 8, high road leaders embrace authenticity. How do you do that?
Don't be fake.
Don't
You're
be
willing
fake.
to accept someone for their whole person, whether it's in alignment with you or not.
Cool. Okay. High road leaders take accountability for their actions.
And the responsibility of people have to do as well.
Yes. That's right. You do. High road leaders live by the law of the big picture. What does that mean? Live by the law of the big picture.
Well, as a leader, you have people around you, right? They're following you for a reason. That's the bigger picture. So are you putting them first or are you before your people?
So the best for all, right?
Best for all.
Thinking long term.
Yeah, thinking long term.
That's what vision is.
Casting the vision. Love it. Number 11, high road leaders don't keep score.
Depends on it's a competition.
I was gonna say. I'll agree with that.
I mean, there is an appropriate time to keep score,
Not everybody can win.
right? But what does it really have to do with keeping score is like holding a grudge, right?
Yeah.
Right? A tit for tat, right? That kind of thing. All right, so number 12, high road leaders desire the best for others. They want more for you than you want for you.
That's a dangerous one.
Tell us more about that.
Well, anybody that steps into any role of leadership, whether it's in family or business, right? What happens is they step into that role because they have a desire to serve and help others. When you have a heart like that, what can happen is you end up wanting something more than the person that's in your ecosystem. And that doesn't serve anybody in that situation. So you do have to be careful with that because it can bite you in the butt.
You need to identify your status. Are you fixing someone or are you helping them?
And do you know what they want? Because that's usually the biggest problem, right?
And do they really want it?
Yes.
So how about that leadership lesson, you guys? Did that bring you some value this morning? Give you something to think about, to aspire to? You know, we're all leaders in this room. You're all leading. Leadership knows no position. You're all leading. You're leading someone. You're leading something.
Or just yourself.
Or just yourself. Actually, best place to start is right there with yourself, right? Self-leadership. So, anyway, love sharing all this stuff with you so much that I wanted you to have your own copy. So you can remember all the good things. Yes.
What would you like us to do with this year?
I would like you to put it in a frame, hang it up in your room, and when you have a question around these things, because you will. Here's the thing is, these are characteristics of a high road leader, and you will be challenged at some point in your leadership journey around every single one of these multiple times. So when you're challenged,
Share it with somebody that we think would be a good person for you to connect with.
We have a copy machine, more than happy to give you more.
Yeah.
You wanna pass it out?
Remove Pam's phone number before you hand it out.
I'm not really sure why my phone number's on there.
But I love that.
Just hang it up on there. I didn't, just call me. Anyway, thank you. You guys have a great day planned, so.
Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Thank you, Pam. Susan, come on up, friend.
Share. Oh, she didn't share the other time. Or couldn't share it. She'll distract it.
I believe it is Fair Housing Month, which is a lot more important than like National Burrito Day. So this is an important topic. By the way, Annie Fitzsimmons did a series of videos on updates to fair housing. The first couple are good, the rest of them, if you want to watch one or two, that'd be great. Value all people and people matter. So we're talking about in leadership. Those are definitely applicable to our fair housing scenario. There we go. Fair Housing Act is federal legislation that safeguards individuals and families from discrimination in various aspects of housing. So the foundation of Fair Housing Act is the protected classes. If you're in real estate, the housing industry, or even personally selling a property, it is a violation of law to discriminate against people based on their membership in any protected class. So we're going to review those today. The goal is to protect housing rights in America with an emphasis on accountability, culture change, and training. And the purpose of the act is to promote fair housing practices and prevent discrimination based on specific protected characteristics. Do we have a slide? There we go. Okay, so there are several categories of protected classes. There's the national, state, and then there may be additional protected classes for local jurisdictions as well. So federal or national, there we go. Race, color, religion, sex, including gender identity and sexual orientation, disability, familial status, and national origin. And the state includes all national factors plus creed, which is a set of fundamental beliefs or a faith system, marital status, military, veteran status, and immigration status. So locally, there may be some other protected classes, but they can't supersede or override or replace any state or federal classes. So you've always got those two in place. So the act applies to most housing, including private and public housing that receive federal funding. There are a few exceptions. Anybody think of one? Owner-occupied buildings with no more than 4 units. Single-family houses sold or rented directly by the owner without an agent, and housing operated by religious organizations or private clubs that limit the occupancy to its members. So in the sale and rental of housing, it is illegal to refuse to rent or sell housing based on protected characteristics, to set different terms, conditions, or privileges for housing based on these characteristics, falsely deny housing availability, publish discriminatory notices or advertisements, evict tenants due to protected characteristics, harass individuals, impose discriminatory sales price or rental charges, use different qualification criteria, persuade homeowners to sell based on the protected characteristics of potential neighbors. Anybody remember this from the real estate classes? Blockbuster. Discriminate in homeowners insurance. There are some additional federal protections under the Act for federally assisted housing as well. And as far as enforcement, the Department of Justice handles individual complaints of discrimination and is empowered to take legal action against violators of the Act. So a couple more things I want to talk about briefly, and one is, what is familial status? That's one of our protected classes. Well, it specifically refers to the presence of children under the age of 18 in a household, and it applies to parents, legal guardians, designees, or pregnant women who have or are responsible for children. It's discriminatory to refuse to rent to families with children, to charge higher security deposits to families with children, or impose overly restrictive occupancy limits based on familial status. One place I think we could run into snags with fair housing is when we're describing a property in our advertising, you know, great for families, neighborhood perfect for a young family. You see this often. Just be real careful about that, because it can be construed that you are saying this is only for families and not for other people. Okay, last topic on this is love letters. So as we know, this is an
Before
industry
you
term.
get to that, I have
Yeah.
a question. What if you've only got a 2-bedroom house? Can you put an occupancy limit on that?
As long as you're not excluding, like you can't say no families with children.
No, I know, but could you say, maximum 4 people? Or
That people in general is not protected. Just these
Not
categories of people. We value all people.
But not people generally.
but not normal.
Yeah, not generally. Susan, Mark has a question.
There's a 8.5 by 11 piece of paper on the Northwest MLS that tells you what you can't use for packaging and marketing. Really helpful. And if you do cross the line, you're gonna get a.
Yes, you will. You will indeed. Okay, love letters. So we know this is a letter that buyers use to try to influence the seller to choose them over any competing buyers in an offer situation. Problem is that buyer might be describing something about themselves that would include or exclude them from a protected class. And this means that the seller is not legally allowed to use that information as a basis for selecting a buyer. So concern is it could be a fair housing violation. Now remember that our agency law here in the state says that a broker has to timely deliver all written communications in a transaction. So if a buyer insists on writing a love letter, we would have the responsibility of delivering it to the listing broker, and they must in turn deliver it timely to the seller. But the seller has the choice on whether or not to read the love letters. And if your seller specifically doesn't want to see love letters because of potential fair housing hazards, they can have you put that in the listing. No love letters, please. And there are educational requirements for fair housing. Probably all of you have, almost all of you have completed the 6-hour class. And then for each subsequent renewal, 3-hour fair housing class is going to be required in our CE credits. Question?
Before we jump into the meat and potatoes of what we're going to be learning today, I'd like to hear from you guys on some of your wins that you're getting in business right now. That's working.
Yeah, I want to say thank you to Tim McCurry for sharing the hardest part is door knocking and happy hours. So I've been listening to him doing the hard, hitting the pavement every Friday when I do my open house on a Sunday. And I want to thank you, Jennifer Thompson, for showing me the science project board that I remember back in the days, So I'm following and taking all of the advice, doing that, and the open house that I had traffic, and I'm getting lead gen from it. So I appreciate all the loves that you share and the kindness, teaching us the good ways, and everybody, whenever I run to you, help, and you all help them. Thank you. And also Casey from Homes, he shares real list reports, so that helped with my presentation as well. And the owner show up, whoa, it wasn't even from our KW listing. I reached out to a different broker. Thank you to my coach. Don't just stay with KW. If I want to help my people first, like KW to homes for them versus other people. So I'm listening and I'm doing what they teach me. And my mentor, every time when I need something, my #1 mentor shows me the way. So I appreciate everyone who has touched, and share and help tonight. Really and happy.
Awesome, love that. Thank you.
That's it.
Who else has a win they'd like to share?
Continuing to build my Oregon business. I'm excited about all of the menu of services that we've been building here that I've been able to take there. Closing a deal tomorrow and just do 2 more. So
Awesome.
the Oregon connection.
Perfect.
What part of Oregon?
I'm listing in Portland, but I'm also working up and down the coast.
All right, let's do one more before we get Miss Nicole Larson up here.
Oh, so during Bold, I did the Facebook A to Z where I direct messaged everybody in my Facebook, which. But I put everybody that had a positive response, it was a really simple message, I put everybody with a positive response into my command, put them on quarterly call plans, and those quarterly call tasks are trickling in. And it's actually, I'm having a lot of really just great, easy conversations with people. So I did the initial painful work, and then now 3 months later, my quarterly call task comes up, I send them a direct message, hey, what are you doing this spring? I've had a lot of really just easy conversations. And it's easy, that's the thing, like, you had to do the work at the beginning, but now it's just like, hey, how's it going? Cool, like, how it's supposed to be, so that's what, it worked the way it was supposed to, which is a win.
Isn't that wild, right? When things work. Thank you for sharing. I appreciate it. Nicole, come on. You're here. Hey, okay. So Nicole, for those that don't know you, which I think most of us do, but go ahead and introduce yourself. How long you've been in the industry and your little spiel.
I'm Nicole Larson. I have been at this office for 13 years. I joined into my 14th year in real estate. And I have a small team that I've had for the last 9 years, 10 years, I think. I have 6 kids, 2 grandbabies, and I coach high school cheer.
I love that. I love that. And you have the honor of sitting in the hot seat, so people can see you
I don't
on
want to
camera.
sit, but I will stand.
Perfect, as long as you're in the view. So, what we're gonna do, you guys, is we're gonna go over, and Nicole's gonna share best practices for listings and the process. We also have Jeff Glover's printed 5 steps that we're more than happy to share with you guys if you'd like to have as well once we're done. Okay, so one thing that I want you guys to think about while we're going through this and what you want to listen for is there's 2 different skill sets, okay? There's the hard skill set, the tangibles. I also want Nicole to be able to share about what we call the soft skills, how we communicate, how we talk to people and interact, okay? There's 2 different lenses that I want you guys to be listening through. And then if you have questions, please raise your hand so we can address them in real time. Okay. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Excellent. Okay, so let's start with Nicole. You are doing a great job with consistent lead generation. You set a listing appointment.
Yes.
Can you share with me what your process is from the time of you setting that appointment to you going on that appointment?
Well, we have to go backwards a little bit first. So before I will actually meet with a seller and have a CMA done is we go over a blue sheet. And that's a series of questions. It takes about 15 to 20 minutes. And I want to get all that information prior to actually setting the appointment to know if they're ready to go.
So go deeper though. What are the questions that you have on the blue sheet?
They're like 25 questions. The most important ones are on a scale of 1 to 10, with 10 being you need to sell your house yesterday.
Yeah.
And 1 is you're just kind of poking around to see what it's worth. Where are you at?
Perfect. Why is it important that you're doing that step before you get to the house?
I don't want to waste my time.
Oh, okay.
I won't meet with anyone that's not a 6 or above.
How long did it take you to learn and develop that system?
Like 6 years probably.
Okay.
And I think still like some of my team members have a hard time asking some of the questions because they feel like it takes a long time, but it really does set you up for success.
Well, and it's more opportunities to build a connection even before you sit face to face.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So you do the intake or your what do you call it? The blue sheet. The blue sheet.
It's a
okay.
Keller Williams form. I just call it blue because it's a blue color in my office. So
Perfect.
if a buyer or seller is calling, I just grab that, and Pam taught me that. So
Perfect. Okay.
for a long time ago, color code my forms.
Then what's next?
Then I drop off a pre-listing packet to them 24 to 48 hours before the appointment. So I'm not even
What's
setting
the-
my appointment out unless it's like,
Right.
depending on the location.
Okay. What is a pre-listing packet?
It has our seller's guide in it, and it has a little bit memorable gift from us, like something to think about NLA real estate. It's different per team member because it's personalized to the listing agent.
Okay.
It goes in a teal bag because that's what we are.
Mhm.
I do ask if they have like children or anything in their home. It's part of that. And I put a kids listing agreement in there as well so that they know I'm thinking about their family and there to support them, as well as a seller disclosure statement. And there's one more thing in there. I can't remember. That stuff. Yeah.
Perfect. So guys, we haven't even gotten to the appointment. So if you guys are hearing this and analyzing your processes and you're seeing or hearing gaps in what she's doing versus what you're doing, it may be an opportunity for you to increase your value proposition, right? So kind of be listening for those things that you need to either implement or ask more about. Okay.
Yeah, back to the blue sheet though, I think another really important question is what are the 3 most important things you're looking to hire in a real estate agent? And so that to me knows what I need to go over with them in my seller presentation. And so I'm not just selling, I'm doing more of a consultation, really going over their needs.
Do you happen to ask if they're interviewing multiple agents?
That's the last question on our form,
Why is that important?
because I want to be the first one in the door,
Why?
because I want to cancel the other appointments.
Yes, you do. Pick up the phone, right? It's the best call if you guys haven't got to do that yet.
It is fun.
Okay.
Yes, JLo.
You said a kids listing.
Yes.
Tell us about that.
It's not my form. It's just something I adopted into my business. And it is a kids listing agreement, and it pretty much outlines with the children what their expectation is. Like how many parents have a hard time getting their kids to clean their room or pick up after themselves, or if you have teenagers taking the dirty bowls out of the room. And it says at the bottom, you get a $25 gift card to Target or Walmart. They get to choose. And as long as they do everything until we go pending, right? Because that's really the main bread and butter, then I will pay that for them. And so they can lean on me instead of having to lean on themselves to do that.
Brilliant.
I just want to make a comment because just by doing those steps right there before you've even talked about the CMA, you've just eliminated 99% of the competition because they're not doing it. I guarantee it.
Well, and she's already given a full experience, guys, and we haven't even gotten to the front door for the listing presentation, right? And experience means you're tapping into multiple senses. You're giving something that's memorable and rememberable to be able to give referral business. You haven't even sat down at the table yet.
No, and I'm really trying to identify what their disc is through that blue sheet because, you know, there's biggest fears for each disc. So like a D doesn't want to be taken advantage of. I can't remember the I off the top of my head. S doesn't like change.
Rejection is.
They don't like rejection.
I is
Rejection, yes. And C is they don't want to make the wrong decision. So if I can eliminate some of that and really hone in on those things in the presentation and I can get a little bit ahead of it and try to identify that ahead of time, it helps.
Okay, so I mean, gosh, we're not even at the table yet. We've provided so much. My question for you is when we're talking about the blue sheet and the buyer pre-listing packet, what did that process look like in regards to practicing and getting that kind of worked out? What's that look like, or what did that look like?
Well, first we decided that we're not going to take listings out of a certain area so that we could deliver that service, because sometimes if it's like 45 minutes away, it is hard to go and deliver that pre-list packet and then service that listing. So we're very specific on the area that we take a listing in now. That's important, as well as we do practice our blue sheets twice a month together as a team so that we can make sure that it's not just the initial question, it's the 3 deep after it to really get to the sense of the answer.
Okay, what does that mean, 3D?
So if you say you're an 8 out of 10, what would make it a 10? What else needs to happen in order for that to happen? Tell me more, right? We're like getting, because the first question's kind of
Surface level, right?
surface level, yeah, the vanilla of it, so.
So you're going deeper to make sure that you're listening through their perception, not yours,
Correct.
right? So you're connecting, not just communicating.
Correct.
Okay, I like that. How many of you guys, show of hands, have very clear boundaries of where you're willing to take a listing? Was just curious. Okay. Why did you choose to operate your business that way? Outside of logistics of wanting to get pre-listing packets out and things like that.
I think it's all the servicing that goes with it, right? And the touches that we do when they get offers and the celebration at that part and everything. So I want them to be able to drive to the office and be able to review offers too. So I want to make it as convenient as possible for them. And like, I don't know, downtown Seattle, it doesn't make sense for me to take a listing from there. It's a different breed.
Well, and by doing that, you actually do become a master and a knowledge of that intimate area because you are just specializing in it, right? So talk about being able to be above your competition. Okay, man, we haven't gotten to the supper table. Anything else before we sit down and have a conversation?
We used to call and confirm the appointment. We don't do that anymore. We just remind them, hey, we'll be here at this time.
This is what we talked about. Okay.
Yep.
Perfect. Anything else that I'm not asking you before we sit down and have our consultation?
Yes, so for the CMA, if I will call all the pendings and actives and solds and get information on there. So I'm not just presenting data, I'm actually presenting accurate data. So I call all the pendings and ask them, how many offers did they have? What was the showing feedback like? You know, I want to be able to get apples to apples as much as I can in that comparable.
Yeah.
And I call the active agents and ask them, you know, how has it been? How is activity? What does this look like? What are the buyers saying? All
Guys,
of that
this is
information.
gold, okay? She's going from a surface level step that we're all aware of. You gotta look at your competition, right? The pending, the close, the active. But she's just not pulling it up on MLS. She's picking up the phone and connecting with that agent. She's learning about the specifics, the activity, the price, the offers. Talk about going next level, right? When we look at agents that are successful and then we look at the agents that are killing it, it's these little small things that make that difference. Right? So
I think it gives a better education too. If you have 5 pendings and all of them offered buyer closing costs, I'm going to be able to set my client up for that conversation of, hey, there's 5 pendings and recently 4 out of the 5 are offering buyer concessions. I think we need to prepare for that when we're looking at getting this on the market.
brilliant expectations up front,
Yeah.
right? Okay, I love it. So are we at the table yet?
Yes.
Perfect.
Well, not yet, but yes.
Question, are the other agents very open to giving me that information?
Most of the time, I think I've been doing it long enough that most of them, some agents on my team don't. So they'll go like, hey, can you call this agent? They are not answering for me. And most of the time I'll get it.
They're not gonna give you the price that they sold it for,
No.
but they'll.
You're
they'll give you-
actually be surprised. I
Some
actually.
will,
Yeah.
some unprofessional ones will give you the price, but what she's doing is she's finding out because you have multiple offers.
Yeah.
It should tell her they got at least
Yeah,
that price.
and sometimes I'll be like, okay, they're like, I'm not gonna tell you, did it go 10 over? Did it go
Make
15?
it a game,
Like
right?
how far? And they'll just get annoyed and just give me the answer and so then we move on.
Kind of cheat a little bit.
You just gotta keep asking different ways to get what you want.
Okay, any questions about the everything before we get to the table part? Okay, are you guys hearing anything that you either want to add to your process or improve in your process?
Yeah.
Perfect. Now you know me in good fashion. What I'm going to ask at the end of this is that 24-hour action item. We don't want smart notebooks. We have enough of them. We want you guys to actually start implementing and developing your business so that you get the results you deserve. Okay? Back to you, girlfriend. Are we at the table?
So yeah, I knock on the door, I take off my shoes because I don't wear shoes in my house. So I always want to make sure or bring booties depending on the type of property it is. And then I will walk us over to the kitchen table. I give them a VIP questionnaire for them to fill out. And I tell them I'm going to take about 5 minutes to walk through your home because I want to see it through a buyer's eyes and not, you know, if you decide to hire me or if I decide to hire you, then at that moment we can walk through the home and you can show me everything that you've
Oh, but
done.
Nicole, I really want to go with you on that walk because I have really cute pink tile in the bathroom. I've got to tell you all about it and where it came from, why it's so important, and why I think it makes my house better than the other houses. So can I go with you on that walk?
You know, Lindy, I'd love that, but in order to save us time, because I promise you I'd be out of here in an hour, I want to make sure that I respect that. So I'm just going to go ahead and take a walk through, and it's important that I look through the buyer's eyes as well.
Perfect. Please don't miss the pink tile.
Got it.
Okay, thank you. It's very important.
I love pink.
Okay, I'm gonna fill out this though. So I'll
Okay.
fill out that questionnaire. What is on that questionnaire, Nicole?
Just their names, birth dates, their favorite alcohol, favorite drink, favorite food place, anniversaries, anything and everything that I can get to know them so I can love on them throughout the transaction and thereafter.
What do you mean love on them?
We do a lot of different things. So we're jumping ahead, but at time of offers, we really celebrate, and depending on if they drink or not, we'll either do cider. We have champagne flutes that we celebrate with them, make it a really exciting time. If there's multiple offers, we have a number balloon for how many offers that is. So if they have 2, we do 2. If they only got 1, then we'll just do NLA balloons, and we bring them to the office and celebrate that time with them.
Awesome. I like that. That reminds me, have you guys read the book Unreasonable Hospitality? Great opportunity to be picking that book up right now as we're looking at how to give that experience. That just
Yeah.
totally.
And then after pending, they'll get like a cute little gift, and then after the appraisal, and then at closing.
Oh, I love that. So throughout the process, not just at the closing table. Okay. So you're walking about my beautiful house. I'm filling out this buyer or the VIP form. What's next?
Then we sit down and I usually only talk to one party, not both on the phone to go through that blue sheet. So now I want to go through that time and make sure I honor both of the relationships and say, hey, I just want to verify when we last spoke, you were an 8. Has that changed? You said you were doing this, this, and this. At the time you were meeting with more agents. Have you just scheduled any more appointments or not? Did you just, all of that? You said that your top 3 things were this. I wanted to make sure I got your top 3 things that were important. If I covered, and then I'll go, do you have any questions? Okay, perfect. And I just keep asking all the questions and then say, hey, if we go through all of this today and I'm able to overcome all of these answers for you, are you ready to sign a listing agreement and hire me today?
So you come prepared to sign right there.
Absolutely.
Perfect. I like that. So Nicole, I'm just curious, why did you choose to sit at the kitchen table?
Because it's a business conversation.
Yep. Okay, perfect. Okay, so I finished the VIP form.
Mhm.
You're back from the tour. You love the pink tile, obviously.
Absolutely.
Okay, what is the next step for you?
We do the blue sheet again, refer to that, and then I'll go into the listing presentation and I'll go over, based on the things that they talked about. I want to go over those items. I'll ask them, did you get a chance to look at the stuff that I dropped off? So I know, did they read through it? What did they think of it? What questions did they have? And then I'm just going to cover those big points in that presentation that are important to them. And then I'll go into the CMA.
Got it. So what I'm hearing you say is your listing and presentation isn't the exact same every time. It's
No.
going to be tailored towards their questions and what homework they've done in advance.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we could go over the whole thing. But primarily I want to focus on them. And then if they need more time to go over anything, then we'll cover those things as well.
Okay. Well, let's go into the meat of it, and what's kind of top of mind for a lot of people when we're talking about listings right now is how are you handling objections? How are you handling compensation conversation? And how are you handling pricing and the potential of having to do price adjustments? Let's start with one at a time. My bad, I just question stacked. Let's start over. How are you handling the compensation conversations that are coming up?
It hasn't been a problem so far. So we have a listing menu, and we on our listing menu, it's 3, 4, and 5% on our side of it.
Okay.
And so we've broken down that conversation a couple of years ago when this all started. And so we go over what we're wanting to offer, and based on the different packages, what direction they want to go, how involved do they want to be? Do they just want me to take over it completely? Then they're going to get charged 5%, those types of things.
Okay.
So we do that. Then we go into the other side. Now we talk about, they always have the choice, right? And this is what this looks like and how, and then we bring out the current buyer service agreement and explain what is presented to them, to buyers, and sitting down, and how, if someone offers this, how many buyers or potential buyers that you could lose out on, because there's an option currently in the buyer service agreement that says they don't have to show homes if it's below X. So I just like to prepare them for that so that they can make a decision.
So I have to ask, it doesn't sound like these potential upcoming changes in June or July, whenever that one settles, if it settles, really affects you, because you've been operating through kind of a business lens of educating and setting up expectations before you actually had to. Like
Yeah.
before it was mandatory.
Yeah,
right?
we broke that up a couple years ago. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Anything that I'm not asking around compensation that I should, that you want to share? Do you guys have any questions before we keep going?
I think when it comes down to them deciding between 2.5% or 3% or whatever, when you're in that bubble, I like to break down what that 0.5% is in dollar amounts versus actually a 0.5%. So I can say, hey, all your competition is listing at 2.5%, let's say, right? There's a $2,500 difference. If you're at 3, it may bring more buyers, it may not, if that's a strategy, or we could offer a bonus, a buyer bonus, either towards the buyer or for the agent. So we did that recently on one of my agents' listings where we offered $1,000 if they brought us a full price offer by the end of the weekend.
Oh, nice. Okay.
So there's different ways to do about it.
Yeah.
Just depends on the competition in that area.
Perfect. Okay. All right. Talk to me about pricing, expectations, and your strategy behind it.
Well, because I've gone in a detailed comparable market
Did your
analysis,
homework.
yeah, we pretty much know what that's going to be. You're always going to have the few that want to price high, but then we have that form already filled out for those price improvements down the road. So every couple weeks or every month, depending on how quickly they need to sell, those price improvements are already calculated and signed.
Nicole, do you give your sellers a range or do you give them a number?
A range.
Okay, why?
Because if they're a 10, I'm going to tell them I'd probably stay at the lower range. If they're a 6, right, that they're like, okay, well, we don't need to sell right now. We're moving in 90 days with a job transfer. Maybe they want to stay high, start a little higher. There's obviously concerns about that, but I tell them this is where we're at.
Okay, I like that.
But there's also a range of, the range also comes into effect with a list of things that I'm going to ask them to do in order to be able to meet that higher price as well.
Go deeper with that.
So if they want, if the range, like this is this one, and to get to compare to this one, you may need to do your kitchen, or compared to this one, you may need to do a bathroom or
got it.
flooring, or you can do here and then it goes to that. But these ones have that compared to yours.
Got it. Okay.
And
that
some
makes
are
sense.
willing to if they have the time.
How at the beginning, when you're getting this listing signed, do you talk about the potential price adjustments if it's not selling? What's those conversations look like? And what's your strategy around it?
Well, I give them the statistics about how many showings it takes in order to get an offer. You can get that on the MLS and be really specific to that area. And so I let them know, hey, the first 2 weeks, if we don't have that, then this is where we need to be. And then again, if it's not sold by then we're going to need to go here. And I asked them, do you want to chase the market down or would you rather list ahead of the market?
Yeah. Okay. Like that. Any questions around expectations on pricing?
I do remember one thing I forgot in my pre-list. We have a resume per team member, and then we have a team resume as well. And we have 20 questions to ask an agent before hiring them. And we have ours already filled out. That's in the packet too, I forgot.
Why did you add that step?
Because most sellers don't know what to ask an agent when they're interviewing them. So I'd like them to be prepared with that should they want to interview more people. And we already have that answered based on our team.
Oh, okay, perfect. Like that. So I decided to be in business with you because you just made my kiddos happy with their homework assignment. What does that look like then? What's your strategy from we signed the listing agreement? When do you make your listings go live?
10 days till the next Thursday. So we have a 10-day grace period.
Okay.
And then we only list on Thursdays.
What is happening during that 10-day grace period?
We're getting our photographer out there, videographer if they chose that package. We're making sure that they're getting all their checklist items done that we've asked them to do. And we're working on getting our stuff done. So we're not just doing it Thursday morning before the listing goes live. So my team's inputting all of that stuff in there so that we can review it, get everything done.
Why Thursday?
Because I think most buyers shop for homes on the weekend. So I like to have it less days on market.
Okay. What's your communication look like now that houses just don't disappear, right? They're on the market for a couple of days now. What's your communication look like once you're alive on it, on the market? How often are you talking?
Well, we have a standard of every Friday, they get an updated email from my listing manager, which is a new CMA of anything that's come on the market, went pending or sold, any showing feedback, as well as all of the marketing that was done for that week.
Got it.
And then our agent calls them twice during the week as well.
Just let them know activity, feedback, things like that.
Mhm.
Okay, perfect. Anything else you want to share about your process?
I mean, there's a lot that we're not
There's the
going
little
over,
stuff,
but
right?
yeah, but that's okay.
What are you guys hearing by listening to Nicole right now? What are your ahas? Say it again.
She makes it an experience all the way till the end.
Yep, very much so. What else?
She covers details ahead of time.
Yeah, a lot of details.
She knows her system.
Yeah. How long is your listing presentation? I know that's going to vary based on who you're sitting with, but
We're usually not there longer than an hour.
Okay.
It just really depends on the person, but our goal is to get in there. It could be less. So I'd love it to be 20 minutes, but
for sure.
I'm also 100% D, so I'd like to get in and out as quickly as possible.
What questions do you guys have for Nicole?
Can I just say a brilliant thing, sorry, is really understanding the DISC piece of it,
Mhm.
right? Because that's really gonna get to the core of what their concerns are, what their fears are, so that was like.
Money.
Do you know your conversion rates on pushback from people? The initial call that you do, is that the agent or do you have a specific person calling and asking them to fill out a worksheet?
We do it over the phone with them.
Is it the agent specific or is it?
It's an agent.
The agent that's going to the listing.
Mhm.
From there, you're dropping off 24 to 48 hours.
Before the listing. So like, if they can't meet till next Tuesday, then they're getting it Sunday or Monday.
And then when you go to the listing appointment, do you know on average your team's conversion rates? Say that you guys get the listings.
80% of the time, we're right around 80. And some of them don't sign and they're like future, like we have some on our pipeline report that we sign a commitment to sell that isn't actually, because the listing agreement was only 30 days, so we had a commitment to sell for them to
It's
sign.
90 now.
I know, but when it was 30, but so even if they're 6 months down the road, we're still getting them to sign a commitment to sell.
Is your listings, where's the source? Is it mostly SOI or do you specialize in anything else?
I used to do expireds very heavily, which built my database of that. And it is SOI referrals, internet leads.
Okay. All right. Oh, in the back, and then we can go to Dennis.
Do you have a dry practice, listing presentation with your team that you record that we can watch?
I don't, but I've done listing two of the girls in here have come to, we did mock listing presentations last year for like 6 months where all of us rotated giving them and then we gave feedback and actually made it like a real listing presentation, but we don't record them, but we do every 6 months, we go from buyer presentation, step 1 to the ending of our processes and then we do listings. So it depends on the part of the year that we're in.
I would love it if you can do the mock presentation and then we show up and listen to it. That would be great.
I actually have Mike Bernard doing that on the 7th after the team meeting in May that you guys could join.
Okay.
He's lying. So yes, we're working on that for you guys and it is coming. Yep.
Well, I was just gonna say that the fact that you're getting internet leads and you're still getting an 80% conversion rate, because when you asked that question, I thought it would be 99% of them are listing. But if they're internet leads, that changes your conversion rate.
100%, yeah.
Because they don't know who you are.
No.
Other than what you're now presenting.
And those ones tend to take a little bit longer too.
I love what you said about asking them, I think you said three things that are the most important to them. Somebody told me at a class sometime years ago to ask that question, and you don't think about it, but I had a client that when I asked that, she said, and this is bizarre, she said, I know you're going to do a good job, but I want everything together at once. I don't want the sign one day and the this one day. She said, it's important to me to have it all here. I would have never known that. And so I did it and she was just ecstatic.
Yeah, we have a thing once they sign with us or we decide, it goes both ways. You can decide to take the listing or they can decide to hire you, can both agree not to move forward. We have a 10++ form that we fill out with them. So what would make it a 10, what would make it a 10+, and what would make it a 10++. In order for this to be that experience. And that's the last form we do before I walk out the door.
Another question that I asked, I'm sure it's probably in your blue form, but how do you prefer to be communicated?
Yep,
Right?
that's on the
You
top.
want phone, text, email.
That blue sheet, is not blue, but it's on our Facebook in the file section. I uploaded it like a year ago.
Perfect. All right, any other questions, ahas, or anybody want to share anything before we excuse and thank Nicole for her time?
Just so you guys know, she told me we were going over Jeff Glover's presentation. So thanks, Lindy. I appreciate that.
Well, it's more applicable when they know who's
I
doing
agree.
what,
I
right?
just think it's funny. Yes.
So you did great.
Oh, I'm fine with it.
But
yes, Mike. I would have brought stuff to show you guys, just so you know, but you can ask, Alan asked for something of mine the other day and I gave it to him. I'm willing to share with you guys whatever you want. So just ask my Janelle, not me.
That's Janelle.
Yeah, you won't get it.
Which part are you most proud of?
Great question.
5%.
Thank you, Edgar. That was my first answer and I actually am going to change that. Probably just creating something that my clients enjoy to create more referrals down the road. Because it's not fun. I wouldn't say like, I had a client tell me yesterday, like, man, how do you do this for a living? This is not a fun experience. So at least trying to make it as enjoyable as possible throughout the time so that they are at least somewhat excited about next steps.
How familiar are you guys with Jeff Glover's 5-step? We learned about it at family reunion, right? And then it's been available through RBN on our Facebook page and things like that. Nicole, the joke's kind of back on you, hun, because when you look at the 5 steps that Jeff does, you do them.
Kind of. There are some things in here that I am going to fix on our stuff. So I do like some of
So
this
what
stuff.
is it that he does that you don't?
A what happens next document.
Ooh, what's that?
I like that on here. It says that explains what will happen after they list the property with Jeff and his team. So we talk about that, but I don't actually give them
Like
a
a
piece
visual?
of paper and visual of that. So I'm going to add that. We have next step standards on our team that it is always required, whether it's a buyer or seller or another agent or title and escrow, that they know exactly what is expected from us when we end that phone call and then we send them a text. But I don't have a document for that. So
How many of you guys listened to Nicole go through her process thinking it was phenomenal, right? Absolutely perfect. She's open to learning and improving still, right? Because she just exposed, hey, there's opportunity for me in my process to do this at a higher level, right? So that's what I want you guys always thinking is we're going to expose you to the top. And it's not to make you guys feel uncomfortable, frustrated, less than. It's to share with you that she started somewhere too. Everybody gets somewhere else. And when you get there, there's still more room to grow. You will not know it all in this industry. That's why it is so fun. Thank you for being vulnerable and sharing what it is you're not doing at the highest level yet.
what I added too, because it says testimonials on here, I'm actually getting testimonials from other agents when we're in a cross sale too on my Google, and then I add them to that presentation because obviously we know that there's an agent most likely on that other side of that transaction. So to be able to have other agents in the community that you've worked with be able to speak on you, it really makes a big difference.
That's super smart.
Yeah, so we just added that recently.
Yeah, I like it a lot. Okay, thank you for your time and sharing. I love it.
Saying like, even I'm sitting here thinking like I'm overwhelmed, right? There's a bunch of things I wish I could just do, get in and do all these things, but it's just not realistic. And I think a lot of us come out of this, I put myself years ago and listen to this, I'm like, there's no way I can do it. Like, it's just, and I think most people can relate to that. But as she proved, it never ends. And as you learn and you master these things, you just try to improve one thing at a time.
Yes.
And slowly over the years, because otherwise somebody trying to write all this down and go do all these things, it's just not realistic. You're not going to be able to do it consistent enough. You're not able to do it. I mean, so I think just taking one little thing from something she's doing and implement that into your business and realizing it takes years to really master it will get you ahead way more than trying to do everything in one week.
100%. Yeah, because it can be
One system
overwhelming.
at a time. So like our free listing, we take that, like, we don't take the whole seller mastery, we take one section at a time. And when that is done and re-looked at, then we'll move on to the next step. So it's like step one is conversion, right? If you don't have that done in your seller cycle of seller mastery, then you should start building your systems around that first. And then once that's done, then you can move on to the free listing and then keep going around.
That's perfect. Perfect. Thank you, Nicole. Any other ahas or anything that you guys want to share before we go into announcements? Jay.
I was gonna say that Jason Abrams also interviews Jeff on MRE podcast. So it goes through the entire.
I love that. So where can you find that, Jay?
On my podcast. That's right. I just went to Apple and the MRE podcast.
Perfect.
And Rosie was on there last week.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, Rosie was on
Oh. And if you listen to it on 1.5, you can be
Oh.
done in like
Yes.
13 minutes.
Yes. And if they're slower talkers, 175 works even better. Okay, Lindy,
Yes,
do you
ma'am.
want me to talk or do you gonna? talk?
Yes, go big girl.
Okay, so, you all should have received, if you haven't, at the moment, you will, a text from all of us. Erin thought it was not a real one, it was me, yes, I said text.
Yeah.
Yeah, so,
I didn't get it.
okay,
Why?
oh,
But
we're still
getting
to, it's people doing it, so it's gonna take a snippet of time. Yeah. Yes, you should have gotten one from me.
I did.
Okay. All right, so attention, right, referral contest. So there is a $1,000 giveaway. And it starts today. And it'll end on the 16th. So we're going, no, sorry, it ends on Friday, so it's only 3 days. And what we'll do is we'll announce the winner on the 16th. So at the all partners meeting, we're going to announce the winner. Anything else?
A winner.
A winner. A winner.
What defines
So
winner?
The contest.
The one
is-
that gives us the most referrals.
Oh, the most referrals. No, if I give you one agent.
It says to enter in or out.
I like the raffle.
Yeah, you-
Oh, the way you enter in it is by giving us referrals.
Got it. And then whoever does the most is $1,000.
Yes.
Is there a scoreboard that we would want to see? How did you get it?
So Billy, what do they win?
So, okay, well, they're going to win $1,000 in cash. Okay, and then the other thing we're going to add on to it, and we're trying to make it more dramatic, but anyway, I'm just gonna tell you guys. We'll add on a ticket to Mega Camp
For the same person.
and for the same person. And Dennis, since you just spoke up, we're going to,
This is the best part, guys.
yeah, this is the best part.
This is the best
So
part.
when we haven't figured out the number we want to reach yet, that's the thing. But when we reach a certain number of referrals, we'd like to have Dennis, whoever that person is, actually to the person that wins gets the pie Dennis.
In the face.
This is stupid. content.
That alone is worth it.
Right? Think about it. How much fun would you have, Dan? How much fun?
For everyone that sent 5 referrals, should be able to find it.
So, I mean.
Oh, new goal, I like that.
Ooh,
I
that-
tried something. I'll talk to you tomorrow.
Okay. Maybe 10, yeah. 5 is a little, yeah. Dan,
Okay, so we're just not, these are people that are honestly, sincerely thinking about, they've got a niche that they want to maybe look at it.
no, they need to be licensed.
They're just, no, I mean, right, a licensed agent that, gosh, I'm really not happy with my brokerage.
Mhm.
It's someone like that. It's just not like someone I've worked with.
Well, it
No.
can be. So what I'm giving you guys is a foolproof co-broker dialogue.
Okay,
And we know that it works. So is anybody familiar with Tracy Ford? She's one of the team leaders of Buffalo.
yeah.
So Tracy uses this with her agents and it works every time. So, yes, Nicole.
If they join, do we get extra entries into the contest?
We can make that
happen.
Yeah, if they join within those 3 days,
Nicole, this is a 3-day competition.
Yeah. if they do in those 3 days, then yes.
Yeah, I'll give you like 9 pies in his face. Okay.
That's really generous of you.
So, does everybody have one of these? Okay, if you don't, let me know.
Okay, what, Edgar?
Can you guys really define a referral? I mean, I can send you 36,000 names of MLS, right? Like,
Yeah, so essentially, we need you to have a conversation with them and tee us up. Hey,
That's that
Lindy,
script, that
Billy,
dialogue.
Melissa, Pam, whoever is going to be reaching out. Will you accept that call and meet?
So you have to say yes, and you have to connect with them in the next 72 hours.
Correct.
Right? And if you don't, that's not counted.
Just text us. Here's this person.
Yeah,
Or
it's not
you-
counted. You
or
can't
you
count
can-
unless you
I'm trying to
consent.
check it again.
Yeah, or you could, yeah, what you can do is just say, hey, expect a call. I mean, could you call so-and-so? You could just text it to me and then
So
I
would
would.
that count as conversation you guys are having with that person and connect you with them?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
So they have Friday at 5 o'clock.
Not next week, not in a month.
Correct. Yep. So it's either a direct call, hey, I just got off the phone, Lynn's gonna call you ASAP, or if you guys want to simplify it, do a 3-way connection. and add me or Billy or Melissa, depending on location, into that text thread with that agent, and we can take it from there.
The details are in that QR code.
Tatiana, what'd you just
Oh,
say?
the details are on that QR code. So just scan it and then it has a form for you to put in the referrals, contact info. Yep. So
Would it be okay if you guys got an extra $1,000 a ticket to Mega Camp and tie in his face? Because that sounds amazing. That sounds amazing. You've got 3 days, right?
It's like,
It's
like
Chris
Christmas.
wants to know if he can qualify for this or not.
Yeah.
Yes.
100%. Dennis, you seem so excited.
Okay, any other questions before we move on? Okay, if you do, just come let us know. And our preferred lenders.
Junior loan consultant.
I know it's not the best picture of me, but whatever. This is really exciting for me. Isaiah and I became a partnership, I guess you could call it, 4 years ago when he became my assistant. And over that 4-year period, I've grown, he's grown. And so we decided to form a team. So for the last couple of months, we've been putting this together. And so it's a step up. He's not an assistant anymore. He's a junior loan consultant. I'll still be the old loan consultant, I guess. But we are a team. So you can work with either one of us. We're each going to have our own loan links and they'll link together at the end. But we became a partnership. And so commissions incentive. And we're just very excited. We hope to serve you better and do more for you.
Still assisting Deb.
Oh, yeah, I still need help. Yeah. Used to be for my technology. Oh, yes, yes. Because we're having a special event tonight, our homebuyer class, we pushed out till next Tuesday night. So we want you to be sure and do the RBN networking tonight at Billy McHale's. And next Tuesday, Tina and I will be hosting the homebuyer class here in this beautiful room.
So she's gonna write 2 sentences up on the board. Can I log in?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, so we're talking about touches, we're talking about Facebook. Oh God, I hope I can do this fast enough. I just wanted to show everybody how, oh, I'm gonna need my phone. Easy, it's back there next to Chris. Sorry, I'm trying to, here, I'll bring your phone. Oh, I got it. It's gonna be like, what's your two-factor? You know, you guys know how much of a hassle it is to. What do we think the miracle is? I'm gonna remember my password. Let's see if this is. Ah! Okay, I just wanted to show you how easy this is if you know how to log into your Facebook. Does anybody, is anybody logged into Facebook? See if somebody's logged in. I don't know. So November, okay. That's not. We won't look at anything personal. I just want to show you guys something. Okay, so here is a post that Curtis made. The important part is here, we're talking about how we can touch our sphere easy peasy smooth, right? If you make a post on your Facebook, how can you say thank you and interact with the people who see and like your posts? And the simplest way is to open your likes. You can see all this, it's just like right there, message them. And then send them, every single person who likes your post, 2 sentences. Thank you for liking my real estate post. Likes and shares help my business succeed. I appreciate you. A lot of things happen when you do this simple 2 sentences. 1, you're actually touching back and interacting with everybody who liked your post, right? You're telling them, hey, I saw you, I appreciate you. Gratitude helps our business grow. And the other thing is you're building trust with your sphere. What you're saying is you can interact with me safely.
I'm gonna acknowledge that I appreciate you, but I'm not gonna sell you anything. I'm just gonna say thank you. And then if from these 2 sentences where you just said a direct message, thank you for helping my business, the possibility of growing a conversation into a transaction or a connection or whatever is there, but you're reminding your people that they have seen you, they have done something for you, you say thank you and move on. It's super fast. You can type 2 sentences and just have them in a notepad, open up this thing here, and then just hit message, paste it in. Don't do more than 100 in a day or so, because then they'll stall your account. But if you're looking for simple, easy ways to make those April contacts lead to May contracts, this is easy. So I wanted to just share something easy with you guys. And you can do this for any post. So if you make an open house post and your friends like it, if you make a post about, do you like this color bedroom or that color bedroom? Any post, just say thank you to your friends. That's all. That's my whole spiel.
Nice. Thank you.
Okay. Probably log out of her Facebook.
That's this.
Okay, I don't know. Somebody else take this over.
Well, I don't know if I'm any better.
I don't know if I am either, so.
Now that I've broken the computer.
Okay, well, as we're jumping into announcements, Billy, while I'm working on this, do you wanna share what we got going on tonight?
Yes, well, obviously, well, you know who could share it, because we have the people right here.
Who could share it, Billy?
Yes,
Billy could
maybe
share
these
it.
people. So you guys all know that we do have our RBN night out tonight. It starts at 5 till 7.
Music is from 5:30 to 7:30. We have a private room at Billy McHale's, which is just like a 3-minute drive from here. And Kristen Marlowe and Gina Bellavo are playing, and they have played at lots of functions for us already. And they're like best friends, so they're adorable when they play together. And it'll be fun.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
Okay.
Okay. Okay.
I don't know where.
All right. So we did have a little like pretty sheet for you to see the next trainings that are coming up.
The slideshow's gone.
Sorry. All right, so I think you guys had we'll share the scan for the trainings on the Facebook page so you guys can at least see what's coming up. Because obviously we have the night out, we have Value Spirit coming up tomorrow, the 201 database workshop that's coming up as well. So please, 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 if you could make it, be there.
How many of you guys have already gone to the Value Square? Not enough hands. And for those that still have their hands up, I want to encourage you to continue going. Gary Keller does not say the same thing twice. So these calls are different every time, and you will get huge value out of it. It is pertinent to your business.
Is it gonna be right here on this big screen, so a lot of people can sit right here and watch?
In locations, 1010 Federal Way.
Okay.
Yep, we can have it going on here and in a pause. What is
Tomorrow.
It is tomorrow. I don't have a date on it.
It's normally from 10 to 2.
Yeah, 10 to 2.
And just so you know, Pam is not here, but I know that she wants to make it potentially mandatory for all of us to make sure that we're there, because it's so crucial for us to be able to have these conversations, especially before July when everything comes into effect. So we want to be able to articulate our value to our clients, so. Oh, sorry, yeah.
Yep.
When it does in July, sorry.
If
If it does. I know, you guys love me, huh? Okay, so.
We do.
You do.
We do love you.
You like making fun of me, I know it. Okay, so, anything else?
Yeah, we've got Red Day coming up on the 9th. How many of you guys have not participated in Red Day before?
Edgar.
Oh. I'm excited for those that haven't, and I'm even more excited for those that continue. Who wants to share what Red Day is and why KW does it every year? Nicole.
Oh, go ahead. No, you go ahead. You first.
It is Mo Anderson's birthday is what, it doesn't land on her birthday every year, but that's why it was started, because she was the heart of the company, and it's a way for us to give back for greater cause across the world. It was her, she started this as a way of the community that's done so much for your guys' business. This is our opportunity to be out giving back to the community. How many of you guys know who Mo Anderson is? Man, Mama Mo, Velvet Red Hammer, she's got a lot of names. She is phenomenal, and she is one of the main causes for the culture and the Y4C2TEs that we have. This is gonna be a way for us to continue honoring her. She's 84. And so having her in our ecosystem and being present, like she was at a family reunion on the stage, delivering powerful messages. But this is a way for us to keep our culture in the forefront as we've got younger generations coming in so that we do not lose sight of what we are and where we came from. Red Day is going to be one of the ways that we can keep that moving forward. Things that we've done in the past is we've been partnering with Nine Lines for 3 years now, Jackie? 4 years? Forever it feels. We've been able to pour into that specific program, painting houses, redoing houses, and really getting to know the individuals that are a part of that. This year, we'll be doing what, Jackie?
We will have that information out very soon. We're still finalizing some details.
Okay.
There'll be multiple locations, and also just if you want to donate stuff and don't have the time to volunteer that day, it's a variety of different things that you can participate in.
Yeah. So being able to donate allows those that can't physically participate for whatever limitations to still be able to give and be a part of Red Day. So excited for you guys. Please plan accordingly. Block off that day. That's going to be May 9th. You will not be available for any real estate transactions because we will be giving back to our community. We advise that you wear red so that we look.
We'll have shirts for sale.
Plan accordingly, and we'll have red shirts for sale. Perfect.
And actually, Linda, usually it's, the sign-up's usually for half a day. I don't know if it's still gonna be the same, but it's not a whole day. But yeah, there's different times.
Yeah. Okay. Any questions around Red Day? Sweet. Well, thank you guys for showing up, being here today. Remember your 24-hour action items to implement into your business, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you.